So we talked about week 1.
Yeah.
We talked about the Bears. We talked about Caleb and Shane Waldron and the defense again. And the defense again because that's how good they were.
Yeah.
Now I think we can transition to talking about week 2.
Yeah.
We have a big game coming up, not only in I guess an opponent, but also in pressure.
Yeah.
Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
The lights will be on. Peacock will be streaming the game. It's against the Houston Texans, who are 1-0. They're led by superstar quarterback CJ Stroud, a team that was one of the best teams in the NFL last year. They were on the up and coming after a bad 2022. Justin, talk to me about some of the key matchups that are going to be in this game.
I mean, we gotta go to the quarterbacks, right? CJ Stroud versus Caleb Williams. I mean, that's going to be an interesting one because you have one person who only has a year's worth more of experience than the other one. So I definitely think we might see some early quarterback struggles, right? We're having our Bears defense that's coming off of an excellent game. They're feeling cocky. They're feeling confident about what they can do on their end. I mean, I do have concern for who's going to cover Stephon Diggs, but hey, I mean, if Tyreek Stevenson can slow him down, or you throw Jalen Johnson on him again, like I said, the paid money man, I think we can be okay, right? So I mean, for me, it's going to come down to the QBs, plain and simple, right? That's the basics of football. Yep. If you look at their last game, it wasn't as dominant as I thought it would be, right? Not to give discredit to Anthony Richardson of the Indianapolis Colts, but I thought they would be a little bit more dominant, right? I thought they would go out there and blow out Indianapolis. It was a close win, 29-27. And I just felt like, we talked about it earlier, I felt like they were just throwing blows, one touchdown, another touchdown. Yeah. So I think matching up defenses, we'll kind of see what Houston does against us. The only negative drawback is that obviously our offense had a slow start. But I also think as well, like, if we're able to just switch up the plays, let's run some more. We have DeAndre. We signed him to, I think, was it a 4-year deal?
Yeah, 3 years, $24 million. 3-year deal. Yeah.
We signed him to a 3-year deal, $20 million. Let's get this man some carries, okay? And I think that can be able to help us mix up the offense in a way. But what do you think is some key matchups for you, Mike?
So I'm with you. I think the quarterbacks are going to be key in this game. 93 yards is not going to cut it against the Houston Texans, I don't believe. But I think the key matchup in this game is going to be our defense against the Texans offense. I'll take it even a step further than CJ Stroud. I think it's going to be Matt Eberflus versus the offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick of the Houston Texans. The Texans, not only do they have great personnel with Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs at the receiver position, Joe Mixon was very productive yesterday as well, and we all know how good CJ Stroud is. But I think Bobby Slowick has been one of the up-and-coming great offensive minds in our game, right? He was close to getting a head coaching job, came back to Houston. I think what makes his scheme so, successful is he's a descendant of the Kyle Shanahan tree, right? They're going to use motion. They're going to use those quick RPOs to get the receivers in space and get them, yards after catch opportunities. So I think if you're the Bears defense, you have to be really dialed in. Tackling is going to be very, very important in this game.
Yes.
And I think that there needs to be great communication on the back end dealing with all the motion of these receivers because, you know what I'm saying, if we're in man coverage, you need to flow over. If you're in zone, you need to pass off responsibility. That's going to be the key for this Bears defense is communication and tackling against this Bobby Slowick offense. Yeah. We've seen, on an extreme level how good like the 49ers can be, right? Just the way they run offense. Bobby Slowick is a direct descendant of that, right? He worked with Kyle Shanahan in Washington. And so they run a lot of the same concepts, kind of like that pseudo West Coast /RPO /heavy motion style of offense. And we know CJ Stroud is able to make quick, good decisions, good, accurate throws. So it's going to be up to the defense, I think, to limit the damage. And then, like you say, Caleb Williams is going to have to show up to play. He's going to have to, get off the bus, and he's going to need to throw some touchdowns. I mean, that's really – there's no other way to put it. He's going to need to make some big plays through the air if the Texans are going to lose the Bears. I almost said if the Texans win. Excuse me.
Wow, what a Bears fan you are with that jersey on. No, I'm kidding.
By the way, this is Caleb Williams. This isn't Kyle Orton. I know there's going to be comments as well. I saw a Kyle Orton jersey yesterday, which I kind of have respect for. Yeah, because he was trying to be slick. He was trying to pass it off as a Caleb jersey.
He definitely was. And just to add on that, just to give you some stats of Colts and Texans, last game, CJ Stroud, 24 of 32, 234 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And you would have been like, oh, man, that's a clear-cut winner of who carried the game. But then you have Joe Mixon, who they just got. 30 carries, 159 yards. I mean, we are going to have a strong defensive line. And I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit, Mike. I know it's not in our script, but if you were the Bears defensive coordinators, what plays are you calling, or what are you doing more zone? Are you doing more man coverage? Take me through that.
So I would primarily run out of zone just because I think the Texans' skill position players are good enough to beat man coverage. Against the Titans, I know they ran a lot of zone as well, which Titans have pretty good receivers. They might be towards the end of their careers a little bit, but they're still kicking it. Mm-hmm. But the Texans have, I think, better receivers. I think running man coverage would be very bold. Although Jalen Johnson, I think, could hold up against any one of the Texans receivers. Mm-hmm. I think the more opportunistic they can be in zone coverage, right? I think that it would allow them to close down passing lanes more efficiently. And honestly, listen, if I'm Matt Eberflus, I'm sending the dogs next week, right? Yeah. The pass rush was elite, and if there's one way to make a guy like CJ Stroud uncomfortable, it's to just get in his face, right? We saw last year. I go back to one of his early starts against the Baltimore Ravens. Mm-hmm. Baltimore Ravens completely just blew up the pocket, and it didn't allow him to have time for his receivers to get open down the field, and it helped against the running game. And like you said, Joe Mixon had 159 yards yesterday. So I would run primarily, I think, a lot in zone coverage, maybe incorporate a lot of those zone blitzes. I would like to see Tyreek Stevenson coming off the edge. I saw him do some of that yesterday, and just really make life uncomfortable for CJ Stroud. But I think man coverage, I think we're getting a little dicey with that, right? Because I trust Jalen Johnson to be locked down. Mm-hmm. Kyler Gordon, Tyreek Stevenson, they're young defensive backs going against veteran receivers. Yeah. That could be a recipe for disaster. Mm-hmm. And Jaquan Brisker, I think, is also a guy that could play closer to the line of scrimmage next week, to be almost like he was coming almost like a pseudo linebacker, filling in against the run and also rushing the passer. So I would be aggressive against CJ Stroud. I think, if the Bears can get a turnover or two, this really could turn the tide of the game. But it's going to be hard against a guy like CJ Stroud. You can't let him sit back there and just, pop open a tent and get a drink. And no, he's got to be uncomfortable, right? Because if he's just able to sit back there and relax, he's going to dice up the Bears all day. Like I said earlier, I don't care who you have at corner or safety. Yeah. You could have, Legion of Boom back there. If you're not getting a pass rush, it's not, you're not going to play good defense. So again, I'd stack the box, maybe 6-7 guys, play some zone coverage on the back end. I think that's a recipe for success to beat CJ Stroud.
No, and I'm right there with you. I just think overall that's going to be the key, right? He is another strong-arm quarterback, and what do you do against strong-arm quarterbacks? You limit their visibility. You make sure that they either have to run it or throw it out of bounds or throw it into some crazy coverage, right? Mm-hmm. And I just think that, I have a lot of confidence, like you said, in Jalen Johnson, of being able to keep up with a Stephon Diggs, or keep up with a Tank Dell. I think when you have, like I said, I know I repeated all over again about the Bears defense from last game, but I just think the overall confidence, I mean, hey, if I'm Jalen Johnson, I'm walking into practice with my sunglasses on, and I'm like, one-on-one, Gucci flops, Hermes bag, whatever you want to call it. But, I'm walking in with instilled confidence and also hunger of like, hey, we have the Texans next week. A lot of people counted us out in the second half or the first half of the game, of our home game. Like, let's go out there. Let's kick some butt. Yep. So I definitely think that that'll be key, like zone. Now, if they do start to run it, you got to switch it to man immediately.
Now Justin, my question for you then is, on the flip side of that, you got D'Amico Ryans, who runs the defense for the Houston Texans. Yeah. Former linebacker, was the coordinator of the 49ers a couple of years ago, took them all the way to the Super Bowl. In your opinion, if you're Shane Waldron, what needs to be the game plan against this Texans defense, who was sneaky good last year and had the Rookie of the Year, Will Anderson, who can wreck games, What are you doing if you're Shane Waldron on Sunday to, I guess, overcome this D'Amico Ryans-led defense?
All right, let me go on my Madden playbook here.
Yeah, 4 verts.
4 verts.
Hail Mary.
Hail Mary trio.
Halfback slip screen.
HB toys. Right. For me, I would say we got to keep it short and sweet, right? A bunch of short passes is what's going to win this game. We already seen what happens. I mean, thankfully Caleb did not throw an interception last week, and I think if you do throw a deep ball, Houston's going to kill us. So let's play it short and let's play it smart. Our focus, if I'm Shane Waldron, which I hope you're listening to this, it should be getting those first and second downs, right? Getting those third downs, right? That is the key, right?
Yeah.
Our last game was terrible. We had a poor third down completion rate.
Yes.
And I think that is key, right? Caleb Williams doesn't have to come out here and be Patrick
Dan
Mahomes.
Marino. Yeah.
Dan Marino. Yeah, you don't have to throw 50, 60-yard passes. But I do think, it's going to come down to simplicity, right? We don't have to do a bunch of wheel routes where Caleb's going to shift to the left and we're just going to gunsling it, because there will be a hungry Houston Texans cornerback that'll be waiting, or a defensive end that might tip up the ball and cause disruption. Yeah, definitely we got to run the ball more. Like I said earlier, DeAndre Swift is our guy. You've seen how effective he was in the third quarter of Sunday's game. Yep. And I believe if they would have given him more, he probably could have ran for close to 70, 80 yards. And I'm just being bold here.
My parlay would have appreciated if he got 70 yards. But, yeah, you mentioned, like, quick game and running the offense like that. Mm-hmm. Didn't even mention the Texans also signed Danielle Hunter in free agency.
Oh, my goodness, yes.
Who was awesome last year. So, the dogs will be coming for Caleb Williams tomorrow, or next week, excuse me. And we don't want him getting beat up, right? The offensive line, there was some leakage yesterday, unfortunately. The offensive line didn't hold up, I think, as well as a lot of people would have liked. Shocker, it's the Chicago Bears. Anyways, I think quick game, you're right, is going to be absolutely key. Get the ball out quick, move the chains, get those first downs. I also think it'll help them to get some confidence, right?
Yeah.
Get completions, get first downs. So I agree with you. I think the quick game is going to be important. Like I said, those RPOs, the runs, I think are going to be really, really good for the Bears. And you know what? I don't need Caleb Williams doing the Anthony Richardson, throwing the ball 60 yards back foot, Kobe, just launching it 60 yards like Anthony Richardson did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I need Caleb Williams to run the offense efficiently. I need him to make a few big-time plays in this game. But listen, if we're running the offense the way that we're supposed to, if we're staying ahead of the chains, if we're not taking sacks, Caleb, don't be dancing like that anymore, man. That 15-yarder was not pretty, all right?
No.
There's not a lot of plays in the playbook for 3rd and 35, right?
No.
As much as I would love to say that there's not. Mm-hmm. So keep yourself ahead of the chains. Again, short, quick passes, keep the ball moving. And also give those guys like DJ Moore a chance to get some yards after catch.
Yes.
If he can get the ball in his hands, even if you throw it to him 3 yards down the field, DJ Moore could take it to the house.
Yes.
I mean, that's just the type of guy that he is. So I agree. I think that needs to be the offensive game plan, because this Texans defense, they got some pass rushers.
They do.
I do not want to see the prince of my franchise, soon to be king, because like I said, the coronation is coming. I don't want to see the king of my franchise on the ground much this game.
No,
which would be the key.
I don't either. And we forgot one key person, right? The guy that we traded for, Keenan Allen. I believe last game he only had one
drop touchdown.
Yeah, 4 catches, 1 drop touchdown, 29 yards. I expect for him to feast in this game as well. I think they're both really good at running after catch, both Swift and Moore. I know we just got news before our show started about Rome Odunze, so hopefully he will be good to go. I think he'll be another kind of back pocket weapon that we can use for this game. But let's transition a little bit. So what do you think, Mike? Do you think the Bears defense will hold up and contain CJ Stroud in next Sunday's game? That face means something.
Listen, I'm just rosy because I'm sunburned. Okay, I'm not.
Hey, when you
that's it.
Tailgating for 8 a.m., man.
Yeah.
Bear down.
I was trying to find Caleb Williams as he entered the stadium, so I was no. I think the Bears defense will play good next week. I don't know if they're 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns, forced fumble. I don't know if they're that good. Because this CJ Stroud is not going to make the same mistakes that Will Levis made. Right?
Yes, not at all.
So I think the defense will play good. I don't think it's going to be utter domination. Mm-hmm. But I say if you keep the Texans under, let's go 27 points, I think that's a good day at the office.
Yeah.
This Texans team has the ability to score at all three levels.
Yes.
CJ Stroud throws a phenomenal deep ball. Great quarterback. Joe Mixon's running the ball. They got good receivers, a good play caller. Their offense is good. Just keep the game in check. Don't let the lead get too far ahead. Give the Bears offense an opportunity to make up for last week and get them back in the game. I think that they'll be fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I believe that if we can just play, like you said before, keep that zone, just stay on your toes, just try to slow the Texans down, right? We're going to see an electric offense next Sunday, and I think the biggest keys, yes, will be our defense, but also you got to put the offense. Will the offense show up? And I'm hoping so as a Bears fan because we need it. We can't win another game with our defense. I mean, if we do, there will definitely be a lot of hate and concerning questions on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping for a better result. Even if he does throw an interception or two, but he has a better yard and completion rate, that shows some progress, right? Yeah. So to answer the question, I believe that we will hold up. I mean, we're coming off of a comeback win, and our defense carried the team, not our offense. So I think that'll definitely boost the team confidence going into this game. And like I said, we'll see what happens here. So before we end our show, we're going to give our game predictions. I know our first episode, we both had this team losing. We're both currently 1-0 right now. We had our predictions. You were I think we were both very close.
I said 24-18.
And I think
I'm taking that to the bank.
I think I said 23-19. But do you still see, because I know we talked about it, them both losing. After seeing game one, do you think the Bears have a chance of beating the Texans?
No. Sorry. How do I say this nicely? And I want to be positive. I do. I don't think the Bears offense right now is in a position to go, say, band for band with the Texans, right?
No.
I don't know if Caleb and this offense can keep up with CJ and the Texans offense. And as good as I think our defense will be, they are not miracle workers, right? Well, after Sunday, they might be miracle workers.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I just think it's too daunting of a task to ask the offense to improve that drastically in a week and for the defense to keep up that elite level of play. And again, there's really no shame in losing to the Texans on the road in week 2 of Caleb Williams. This is a team that is going to be in contention to go to the Super Bowl in the AFC. They're going to be very, very good this year. I do believe that they will win their division. So, no, I don't believe the Bears will win. If I had to shoot you a score, I will go 27-17. I think the Texans win 27-17.
Yeah. No, I mean, unfortunately, I know the last episode I was super optimistic, but I'm not going to lie, we not winning this game. Respectfully, I just think Houston has just way too much experience, and I believe that, yes, we had a phenomenal game of our defense, but this was against Will Levis and Tony Pollard. So I just think with better talent, we're not going to be able to contain it as much. But I will say, no matter if they do win or lose from this game, I think it'll definitely be a learning lesson, and they will go into week 3 with more confidence. So I'm not mad if we lose this one. I mean, looking at the NFC North, everyone except for Green Bay, which is really happy.
Suck it, Packers. Sorry. The voice cracked.
Yeah.
But it was worth it because I made fun of Green Bay, so it was worth it.
Alex or Matt, whoever's back there, make sure you clip that. No, but I mean, right, we've seen week 1, and I mean, obviously week 1 is the test drive for all of the teams, right? But from the few clips that I did see of our division rivals, NFC North is looking a little strong, right? So
Sam Darnold. Who would have thought?
He was
awesome yesterday.
He was awesome. Yeah, I mean, they were all pretty much awesome yesterday. And I think overall, it's just I'm okay with going 1-1 with this game, right? Just like we said in the first podcast, you have to win the games that count. They started off their season at home. They won against the Tennessee Titans. It's a long, long season. So there's going to be teams that'll change or teams that'll have development and be able to we're going to be able to grow and get better.
Yeah.
So I don't see us winning this game. I'm going to say the score is probably going to be similar. We'll do 30-15 for
30-15. So, jeez. I think this will be a great litmus test for the Bears to see where they're at. Again, you're playing against the Titans. You can get away with some stuff that you won't be able to get away with a lot of the better teams in the NFL. With the Texans, they will punish you for those mistakes, right? Bears, like we said, we're not good in the red zone. If the Bears are kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, the Houston Texans will make us feel that. They will hurt us because of that. If the Bears are bad on third down again, the Texans will make us, hurt because of that. So, again, this is a good litmus test to see where the Bears rank relative to the rest of the NFL because of this good Houston Texans team. And I think, we're talking about the coronation. Week 3 then against the Colts, I think that could be the coronation.
That'd be a good game.
It would be a good game. So I think maybe we're waiting to crown Caleb till week 3.
Yeah.
No later, but probably no sooner as well. But I think that pretty much wraps it up.
Yeah, no, I mean, it does. First off, we just want to thank everyone for watching.
Yes.
We've both been getting a lot of text and messages about our show. We thank you.
Shout out my mom.
Shout out my mom, too. Love you, Mom. Thank you to Aurora Community Television for giving 2 local sports fans a chance to talk about our team.
Yep.
If you are interested in following more of our content, follow our socials, Instagram and Facebook at Bears Talk Today, and I believe Twitter or X or whatever you call it. I'm like an old man.
It's Twitter.
Twitter. Yeah, okay. We're going with Twitter. Twitter, is it Bears_Talk Today?
Yes.
Yeah. So follow those socials. We'll be going 1 p.m. live every Monday to talk about the recap of the previous week's game. And we're so excited to see, hopefully, if the Bears can pull one out. Thank you guys for watching today. I'm Justin Evans. This is my co-host, Michael DeFrancisco. And we are signing off.